Now, we were speaking about your Johannesburg launch before this interview started, and you said you had a lot of questions from families who have members of the family who are transgender. What are some of the recurring themes you hear about in the transgender community when it comes to families learning how to cope?
No, it's difficult, and this is something that I discussed in some detail at the launch last night. Just like a family member struggles to understand what I go through as a trans person, I also sometimes struggle to understand what they will go through as a cisgender ally, or as a loved one, or as significant other, friend, family, whatever it is. Understanding the gravity of that revelation and all the baggage that comes with it is very, very difficult. I think a lot of the common themes that other trans people sort of express is they struggle to get their family members to understand. There's a lot of misconceptions around trans identity, the idea that it's a choice, the idea that we're trying to mislead people or deceive them, or that we're not being fully honest. The idea that it's all about us, when, of course, when you transition, you go through all of these changes, a lot of your energy is focused on your own growth and your development and the physical changes and embracing who you've hidden from the world for so long. But at the same time, I think it's very unfair to think that for the majority of trans people, we don't consider what it does to the people around us, and that we don't have some significant amount of inner conflict over that.
When you outline those misconceptions and those stigmas, how does that make you feel?
I kind of, I say I'm a little bit of a one-trick pony because I just do this over and over again. But really I do have a passion through what I do, and this comes back to why you're holding a book in your hands. Why does Always Anastasia exist in the first place? I have an understanding of gender and identity and how it relates to who we are that I've had to develop because I'm trans. I had to go and do the research and do the homework and learn all of these very foreign concepts and this entire new lexicon and vocabulary that goes with it. And that helped me to understand who I was. But at the same time, I recognize that not everyone out there has done so, and that makes it very difficult to understand and relate to people who are trans. And I really think that that's the underlying motivation behind all of this, is let's spread the understanding, let's spread the empathy and the compassion, and let's find the similarities.
What advice do you have for parents who are raising trans children?
I think the advice that I would give is, as a parent, you play a very central role in the life of your child, and your opinion of them and your estimation of them and the way that you interact with them carries a lot more weight than that of just anyone on the street. Parenting is a big responsibility, and parenting a trans child, I think, even more so. And I recognize that it can be difficult and confusing as a parent to navigate this very uncharted, unfamiliar territory. What it's important to bear in mind, however, is that being trans is not a choice. Being trans is not an illness, it's not a pathology, it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with your child. And it can be difficult to embrace and be affirming of something that is so alien and so foreign. But that validation and that affirmation and that parental support can make all the difference to a trans child. So recognizing that identity and affirming it, instead of being afraid of it or trying to get rid of it, is really, I think, the fundamental point.